Welcome to a system for success to fit, find, inspire, and train an associate dentist into your practice. Is your associate position a car or a boat? It's Dr. Paul Goodman. One of my favorite topics is helping dentists bond together with more success and less stress. And we are going to review a checklist for associateship success. This is for both dentists looking for jobs and practice owners looking to hire an associate. This is my disclosure slide. I am the founder, Paul Goodman, DMD. That's me, the founder and CEO of Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. Commercial support for this program is provided by Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. And this CE activity is being provided jointly with CE Zoom Partners, LLC. And Dr. Paul Goodman, that's me, is a member of the CE Zoom Advisory Committee. So my empowerment promise to you is to help you with the following over this time here. Find, start early, social media help. Don't be dentist cheap about finding your associate, hiring your associate. Use all avenues out there to be successful, whether they're classic ones like going to in-person CE or online platforms. This is one of the biggest decisions of your career. I talk about the 4 biggest decisions of a dentist's career. A golden nacho tip is to think about your career with these 4 major decisions. Finding your first job, buying or starting your first practice, hiring your first associate, and selling your only dental practice, and the dashes in between. What are the 4 biggest decisions you're going to make? Finding your first job, buying or starting your first practice, hiring your first associate, and selling your only dental practice. Inspire, does your website reflect your awesomeness? Are you offering an income guarantee? If you're a practice owner looking to hire an associate, make sure that your website, people start to develop a relationship with you before they even step foot in your office. That goes for patients and dental associates. And one of the common themes I will share here is I believe strongly in an income guarantee for associate dentists. As a business owner, for both dental and non-dental businesses, I want my team to feel safe, secure. I don't want them to have anxiety. I do not believe it is the job of the associate dentist, your front desk team member, your admin person, to be responsible for the profitability of the practice. When they come to work, an income guarantee is what I believe should be a standard. So that goes for associates too. If you would like me to share our protocol, I say protocol instead of policy. You're going to learn more about that in just a minute. Our protocol is we have an income guarantee. Think of it as a guaranteed salary plus the opportunity to earn more based on a percentage of collections. So I'll share this with you. If I was talking to an associate dentist and they asked, how am I going to be paid working in your practice? I'd say that's a great question. A lot of associate dentists ask that. The way it works, great transitional phrase, the way it works is that if you work with us for 200 days, you're going to make $120,000 no matter what. At the end of the year, we're going to take 33% of your net collections. That's 33% of the money that's collected on your provider number, dental provider number, your practice management software. Lab costs do come off the top. So the associate is not taking any money out of their pocket to pay lab. But if let's just use this easy example. An associate collects $660,000 a year. There's $60,000 in lab bills. So we take 660 minus 60, that's 600, and we pay them 33% of $600,000. That's $200,000. Our income guarantee was 120. So on the last day of the year, they get their bonus check for $80,000. If the associate dentist, for whatever reason, only collected $300,000, and 33% of that is 100, but we paid them 120. We do not ask for the $20,000 back. That is why it is a guaranteed salary. Is there growth or ownership potential in your practice? Make sure you can describe that. And what systems do you use to train your associates, whether that's internal CE, external CE, coaching, and more. So this is just a great way to think about how to fit your associate relationships to maximize happiness. If you want to take a screenshot of this slide, this here is everything working on finding the right associate dentist, finding the right job, inspiring that associate dentist, and training them. One of my phrases is the words that we say influence the success of our day. The words that we say influence the success of our day. Words matter. So one of the things we do with our associate dentists is we train them what words to say to patients and not to say. So here's a fun example of words not to say and words to say to be more likable, more credible, and most of all, make things less weird in your dental practice.
Does your dentist say words to you that make you feel weird, scared, and afraid? Well, it's not your dentist's fault because they went to dental school, and in dental school, we are taught to talk really, really weird. You may have a hygienist as well. She's also taught to talk really, really weird. My name is Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho, and I am helping dentists and hygienists everywhere not talk weird. So I've come up with 5 words you should not say in a dental office. 5 words that will make your patients feel scared, feel weird, feel afraid, and make you unlikable. So what are these 5 words? So we're going to go through don't say this, say this. The first word is fail or failed. There's no reason we have to look at a patient who's had a bridge in place for 20 years and say, Millie, your bridge has failed. It's unlikable, it's mean, and it doesn't even make sense because cars don't last that long. So instead of failed, how about we say this? Hey, Millie, it's time to replace your bridge. So don't say fail, say replace. What's next? My personal favorite, the one that makes you feel so weird on the inside when you say it. If a tooth does not have a filling, we are taught to call those teeth virgins. Does that make you feel comfortable to hear the word virgin? Instead of saying virgin, how about saying tooth without a filling? This tooth doesn't have a filling, not that it's a virgin. The third thing is save. We often say to patients, we can't save this tooth. So dramatic, like it's Private Premolar Ryan and Tom Hanks is coming to save it. So instead of that, say, hey, the cavity here has gotten so deep, we cannot maintain this tooth. So to review, don't say fail, say replace. Don't say virgin, say tooth without a filling. Don't say save, say maintain. We have 2 more. Informed consent, so dramatic. I'm going to give you an informed consent for a root canal. Now, what could you call an informed consent? A heads up. I'm going to give you a heads up what can happen. So you can have an informed consent form where it says informed consent, but as you bring it to life for patients, say, I'm going to give you a heads up. Most of the time things go really, really well, but these are some things you should know about your procedure. I'm going to give you a heads up, whether it's a root canal, scaling and root planing a crown. And the final one is the P word. Do not say this P word. And that P word is policy. No one likes to hear that word. You don't like it, I don't like it, and our patients don't like it. So you may have a financial policy where everyone pays before treatment. That's cool. But instead of saying policy, why don't you call it protocol? So don't say policy, say protocol. So these are the 5 words you should not say to be less weird and more likable in the dental office. Don't say fail, say replaced. Don't say virgin, say tooth without a filling. Don't say save, say maintained. Don't say informed consent, say heads up. Don't say policy, say protocol. If I can help you in any way, just reach out to me at dentalnachos.com. It is my life's goal to help you talk less weird.
So hopefully you learned some things to say to be more likable and bond with your patients, and things that will not make them feel as bad. Telling someone that their crown has failed, to me, is something that just sounds pretty rude, especially when it's lasted for 12 years. So let's one tip I can add for talking tips is to say, we eat 1,000 meals a year. If a crown lasts 9 years, say great job. That's 9,000 meals. Also want to share that as someone who loves to be on video and share, this presentation does not have my face on video, just on audio, because I believe this is something you can listen to on the treadmill in your car to learn how to be more successful as an associate dentist. For those of you watching in live on Zoom, please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A. I'd love to answer questions about your specific situation, but checklists are important for success. So what is the checklist for success for associateships? This is for both practice owners and job seekers. Identify the differences between a car and a boat associate position. A car is a need, a boat is a want. A car is a need, a boat is a want. So a golden nacho tip is to be able to identify the differences between a car associate position, a need, and a boat, a want associate position. I'll give a few examples. When you're replacing an associate that is leaving the practice, this is happening to a dentist that I know because their associate is going to buy their own practice, or someone gets into a specialty program. These are amazing needs. A dentist was there collecting $620,000 a year. They're making $200,000. You're going to step into associate position where you are replacing that associate. So the best reason to get an associate job, the best why, is replacing an existing associate who is leaving for the best reason, for a good reason. The best why for why a practice needs an associate is an existing associate with a full schedule is leaving for a good reason, such as buying or starting their own practice or getting into a specialty program. Now, a want position is very different. This practice owner wants an associate. Perhaps they want to work less. They want to spend more time with their family. They want to work on admin work. They want to focus on specialty procedures. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting a boat. I'm helping you understand that people will sell their car before their boat. So people will sell their boat before their car. So because of that, if you take a boat position and the practice owner says, you know what, I wanted time off, but I can't take the income hit, they may say there's no longer a position for you here. So a boat position is a want position. So it's clear to know which position are you stepping into in that practice. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to drop them in the chat. What are the 3 M's that matter most? Mentorship, money, and morale. Mentorship, money, and morale. So what does the mentorship look like in the practice that you are getting a job in or hiring an associate? How often is the owner on site? So a golden question to ask on every job interview is, how often will I be the only dentist in the practice? How often will I be the only dentist in the practice? Because if you hear that answer is every day, there's not going to be a lot of quality mentorship face-to-face. What's the morale like in the practice? It is key to observe in the practice. I am not a fan of working interviews. We can talk more about that later. I would politely decline a clinical working interview. I believe they have risk. I believe it's unfair to the patient, the team, and you, but I encourage/require an associate to spend a day in the practice observing what happens during the game of dentisting. And what is the morale like for that team? Is it a culture where everyone has their back and helps? Is it a culture of chaos? You'll be able to identify the morale. And then money. Is there an income guarantee? What is the income expectations on both sides of the owner-associate fence? So if you're taking notes, you can definitely write these things down in a little notebook to ask about when you're on the job interview. I recommend you bring one of those little notebooks, right in their side. Hey, how often will I be the only dentist in the practice? Would it be cool if I came and observed for a day before I decided about this job? I want to make sure I am the right fit for you. And how will I be compensated? All great questions. As a practice owner, you want to analyze opportunities to inspire your associate to live their best dentistry life, both as a professional and a person. So outside the operatory, your outside the operatory life matters. So what are you going to do when the practice is closed? Are there things to do in the area? Are you the type of person, if there's outdoor activities, likes kayaking or canoeing? I don't know if this is a surprise to anyone here listening to me, but I am not a kayaking or canoeing person. I'm, like Jim Gaffigan says, an indoorsy person. So it wouldn't be attractive to me to take an associate position where hiking and kayaking were the main things to do on the weekends. But for other people, that is a perfect fit. So make sure you're sharing with your associate and inspiring them to not only be the best dentist they could be, but also to make sure that they're happy outside the operatory. Because you can have an amazing job, but if you're lonely on the weekends and you do not have a social network, it's going to become a problem. All of these are guidelines for you to figure out how to create success for yourself. If anyone has any questions, please let me know throughout this webinar. Develop an onboarding system to train your associates to work with your team. One of the biggest problems I see is that practices do not create strategies for the team to get to know the associate outside of the real game of dentisting in the operatory. So are you going to create team meetings? Are you going to have Role modeling. Are you going to set up operatories with your assistants? It's key to spend time training outside of the game of dentisting, because it's very difficult to learn how someone works only when you're working on patients together. So that's another tip that I have here. And review how the associate dentist will impact the people, procedures, and profitability of your practice. So let's just break each one of these down. The people. An associate dentist is a new licensed dentist in your practice. How are the patients going to be introduced to this associate? Are you going to do it face to face? Are you going to do it through email? Are you going to do it through an announcement on your website? Are you going to do it through video? You may do all of those things. The procedures. You can start offering things that you don't like to do as a practice owner. If your associate dentist is competent and confident in removing teeth and preserving bone, extraction bone grafts, you may be able to add procedures to your practice. That's an awesome value add to your patients, team, and the practice. And the profitability. In hiring your first associate dentist, it will negatively impact your profit for that year. So please listen up, practice owners. If you bring in $1.3 million a year and you make $500,000 a year and you hire an associate dentist and you guarantee them $100,000 a year plus the opportunity to make more, yes, you'll be in growth mode. Yes, you can see more patients, but initially between paying the associate dentist assistant team, the materials that they use, and you will likely / it will be necessary to share procedures with that associate dentist, share production, make sure you are ready to earn less income. There's many dentists out there that would rather make $500,000 instead of $600,000 a year if they had more time to spend with people in their lives that they care about. But that's something only you and your family can talk about. So if you're a solo GP adding an associate for the first time, it is very easy for the profitability of your practice to initially go down. It may grow after time, but it's key for you to review that with your training team. So now I would like to pause in this webinar, and we're getting more people joining. Would anyone like to ask a question through the chat? I see some people that I know here that would love to add value to your specific situation. So please feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A. So asking the right questions matters more than knowing the right answers. Asking the right questions matters more than knowing the right answers. So to review, golden nacho tip, what are the 3 M's that matter most? Morale, money, and mentorship. Make sure you can clearly identify what that looks like in your associateship life on both sides. And we do have somebody in the chat, so I'd love to see if you have a question. No, we haven't a question yet. So morale, money, and mentorship. Is the associate position a car or boat? Is it a need or is it a want? What nacho procedure toppings does the associate nacho chef get to make? Are they going to be doing fundamental restorative dentistry? Do you have expectations about them doing endo? If you expect your associate to do endo, you want to make sure they're competent and confident. And for associate dentists, don't be overly confident in specialty procedures if you don't do them often. It's super stressful, unproductive to do things that you're not good at in the real world of dentisting. So if someone says it's really important for you to do ortho and you don't do ortho, make sure you talk about that at the interview. It may not be the right associate fit for you. What are fun things to do outside the operatory? Fun things to do outside the operatory. Make sure that you're sharing what associate dentist can do besides dentistry, whether it's in Philadelphia going to museums or it's in a different area where you're doing outdoorsy things. Make sure you're painting a picture of what their life will be like. Is there a buy-in treatment plan? Is there an opportunity for the associate to buy in? That may be super attractive to some associate dentists and others may not want that, but be ready to answer that question. If it was my practice, I might say, hey, our large practice, there's not an opportunity to buy into this large practice. I would explore buying a practice together with you. Maybe we buy a practice together. We're 50-50 owners. You don't have to have the exact plan during the interview, but you want to be able to knowledgeably talk about it, because when you answer questions with confidence, people believe you know what you're talking about. And as simplistic as that is, when you say to when an associate says to you, how will I be paid here? You say, oh, everybody makes plenty of money. You eat what you kill and you hunt class 2 PPOs. That's not a competent answer. When you say there's an income guarantee of $120,000 a year with the opportunity to earn more through 33% of collections, that's a confident answer. So both sides, whether you're an associate dentist looking for a job or practice owner looking to hire an associate, you want to be able to answer these questions with confidence. How do you avoid WTF associateships? Why these fail? How do you avoid WTF associateships? Why these fail? The two most golden nacho tips I can give you to avoid WTF associateships are: number one, get an attorney to review your employment contract before signing it. And number two, observe in the practice before saying yes to a job. Observe in the practice before saying yes to a job. Observe in the practice, not a working interview, before saying yes to the job. So I have a great question from the chat. How many years is average for practices with an associate before offering a buy-in option? It's a really great question. I would say most of the time, these associates will buy into a practice in the 3 to 5 year range. This is just stories. There's no stats on this. That happens when, this is how this usually happens. There's a partnership. There's an older dentist, Dr. Guaki's 60, a younger dentist, Dr. Salsa, she's 45. And the associate, Dr. Queso, comes in, and the associate, Dr. Queso, will replace the older partner when they retire. It can go as long as forever, ever, like Outcast said, and it can happen soon. You want to make sure as an associate too, do you even want to buy into this practice? So as they say, don't put the nacho cart before the nacho horse. But what I've seen is most buy-ins do happen in a 3 to 5 year time frame, or they don't seem to happen at all. There's nothing wrong with a buy-in not happening, but it's a really good question without solid stats on it. Great question. And one of my favorite movies was Fight Club. So someone DM'd me on Facebook. He said, "Hey, Paul, you were right." I said, "Tell me more about this." I got a screenshot this from White. "Hey, Paul, you were right." He goes, "I did what you said, and you were totally right. I did what you said, Paul, you're totally right." And what he did was he created an associate contract for his associate that he would be happy signing. So in any relationship, offer people something that you would be totally happy getting yourself. We have the golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated. Treatment plans, treatment plans for your patients that you would be happy to sign. So same thing with associate contracts. Make sure you're offering an associate a contract that you believe is fair and equitable and something you would want to sign. The second part to the Fight Club story for practice owners: explain to the associate why you would want to work there if you were a new dentist. Share the strong points, share the stress points, share the reality of what really happens. It's a big decision to sign up and work for a practice every day in the game of dentisting. Give your associates as much clarity as possible. Now, if you're listening as a job seeker, ask the practice owner that. Say, "Hey, practice owner, what questions do you have for me?" "Hey, Dr. Practice Owner, if you were me, why would you want to work in this practice? I'll answer this for my practice." That's a great question. A lot of people ask that. One of the benefits of working here is you get to work as a team. We have 8 dentists that share, have each other's back. There's a lot of camaraderie. Help is always just a text, a video, or in office, other dentists being there, call away. One of the things you won't do here is you won't do a lot of specialty procedures. Our associates don't extract teeth and do endo. So if that's important to you, this might not be the right position for you. If doing fundamental restorative dentistry in an environment where other dentists are here to support you, then this is the right place for you. And that's why I want to work there. Love the question that I got. I would love some more questions in the chat. It makes it a lot more fun for me. So how do we avoid the WTF associate relationships? How do we avoid the why these fail, the mismanaged expectations, the not knowing your true why, the not being invested in the morale, or being TSD about the money? That's so dentist. So why these fail? Mismanaged expectations. Whether it's the number of days you're going to work, how busy you're going to be, not knowing if it's a car or boat, not being invested in your associates' morale, not saying, "Hey, I brought you on, but now I'm just going to go golfing every Thursday and Friday. You deal with my practice." That can be super destructive to associate morale. You have to be on the same page with investing in how the associate is brought onto your team. And that's so dentist is one of my terms for kind of dentists being a little bit negative or dentisting cheap. You have to realize that your associate is an investment, not a profit center when you're going from 1 to 2 dentists. So those are how we would avoid WTF, why these fail associate positions. So does anyone have a question at this time they would like to answer. I would love if you put into the chat something you've learned so far. So let's take a 2-minute timeout as I look to change one thing here. What have you learned so far? Pop that into the chat. What's something that you learned that you know now that you didn't know before starting this presentation? What's something that you didn't know before starting this presentation? What's something that you are going to do from this presentation? I'll leave you guys a minute or two to pop those in the chat. Okay, let me take a look here and see what people have said so far. Okay, I see something coming through here. Changing bad words from consent to protocol. I like that. The words is always popular here. So we have one person. What can I do to get more buy-in? I see more people listening in. I see practice owners looking to hire associates. What are some things that you guys have learned so far during this presentation? I would love to hear more from you as we transition into one thing. So what is something that I reinforced with you during this presentation? Whether it is from what are the 5 questions? One of the things I can share with you is there are 5 questions that you need to ask and be able to answer on every associate interview. Number 1 is, why does the practice need an associate? Number 2, how the associate will be compensated. Number 3, what procedures will the associate do most of the time? Number 4, where is the position? So why does the practice need an associate? What procedures they'll be doing most of the time? How will the associate be compensated? Where is the position? What fun things there are to do in the area? And I just want to ask my team, Victoria, can you see this? Who is trying to stop us from living our best dental lives here?
Perfect.
All right, great. So how does insurance play a role in the associate process? How does the insurance play a role in the associate process? One of the things to be really clear about is there are insurance companies that are not allowing new associate dentists to sign up for the same fee schedule as dentists who've already been on those platforms. We call them spoiled guac PPO. So it's key to ask about insurance. What is the insurance profile of the practice? What are the adjustments? A golden nacho question to ask is, this seems like a really great job. What is the percentage that PPO insurances take off of your fee as a whole? So when I was in network with a lot of and multiple insurances, I would be able to answer that and say, great question. The answer for that is about 25% of our fee. If you hear 50% of more or more, what that means is a crown that's $1,200 as an associate dentist, you may be doing that for $600. And it can be very, very destructive to your morale if you're seeing the patients that have some of the worst insurance plans in the practice. So how is this happening to dentistry? How are we suffering from this? I found the person. She's mean, she's nasty, and she doesn't.
Oh no, it's the Wicked Witch of dental insurance.
I'm going to reduce all of your fees.
But it costs more to run a practice.
I don't care.
So how does dental insurance affect the happiness level of practice owners and associates? It's very key, something you should talk about. Concerning trends with spoiled guac PPO and associate dentists paying less. Some of the words that I train my team to say about associate dentist instead, and about insurance, instead of saying insurance, use the word coupon. It reframes what it does for the patient. It's not insurance, it acts more like a coupon. What can you do as a dentist, associate dentist practice owner to find a fit, find the right associate, inspire and train? Look to do more cases that are less insurance dependent. This is one of my favorite patients, and let's take a look at a case we did together.
Hey, dentists and friends, it's Paul, Dr. Nacho. I'm sitting with one of my favorite people and patients on earth. We did a full mouth implant case back in 2008 when I was only a 31-year-old dentist. Came in today to get it, for us to look at it. It looks awesome. Life-changing impact of dental implants. I'm going to ask Rick, what has been the best part of having these teeth?
Oh, I could smile anytime I want, and I can eat anything I want, and they feel like my real teeth.
That's just so cool. And if someone was saying, my patients, they're not going to go for it because it's too expensive, was the financial investment for you worth it?
Oh, without a doubt, 100%. I I would do it again if I had to.
So hopefully that inspires you to find cases in your practice life and for your associate that may not be as effective.
Hey, Disc friends, it's Paul Dr. Nacho. I'm sitting with one of
This is some of the ways to battle spoiled guac PPO. One of my favorite things to share is making more videos will help you help more patients, increase production, and maintain your sanity. Because when you create videos, you create confidence in your associate dentist and the procedures they can do. Associate dentists that do more specialty procedures that are responsible and know what they're doing will unlock more happiness for your patients, your team, and satisfaction. So any questions about utilizing videos or dental insurance in your associate world, I would love to answer them if you put them in the chat. These are things associate dentists do unlock more of in your dental life. Growth, more sanity, more hygiene checks, more problems, as dentist things P. Diddy would say, more time with your family and friends, more camaraderie, less loneliness, more happiness, less annoyance, and more patient-centered care and production. Imagine building a life with the help of an amazing associate. Build that life. Yes, you can. Cura Dent and the A-Team, also not just sponsors and friends, say we need more. Yes, you can in your life. So who takes care of the things that matter most in your life? Make more videos to share that story. So who takes care of the things that matter most in your life? The things that matter most in my life are my children. Who takes care of them? They are my practices. Associate dentists help take care of them. So let's listen in on this story of sometimes the best things to happen in someone else's life are one of the worst things to happen to you.
And I want to start off with, sometimes one of the worst things that happened to you is one of the best things that happens to someone else. During the pandemic, my wife and I were sitting on the couch, very popular place for us to be during the pandemic. Tons of TV. Sometimes I wonder if my couch misses me from all that time in 2020. So Morgan comes up to us and says, "Hey guys, I need to tell you something." Not once in the history of I need to tell you something has something been good on the other side. Need to tell me how handsome and funny I am? Not that. Said, "Hey guys, I need to tell you this, but first let me tell you who Morgan is." Morgan saved our family during the pandemic. To call Morgan a babysitter would be an insult to Morgan. She was a caretaker of our 2- and 6-year-old. Did anyone here, raise your hand, try to operate people under the age of 10 during 2020? You guys definitely deserve a round of applause like me, because it was not easy. We were running Little House on the kitchen table prairie for school with my wife and 6-year-old. I would just get up and remove my 2-year-old from the house so everyone could stay sane. So Morgan took care of our family. My wife met her early in the pandemic. She came 3 days a week. She was our sanity savior. So she comes up to us and says, "Hey guys, I need to tell you something." And I knew it wasn't going to be good. She said, "I just graduated from college. I've lived in Philadelphia my whole life. I'd like to explore new things, meet new people, and next month I'm moving to San Diego." And I said, "Oh, that sounds great, but San Diego is closed. You have to stay with us here forever." Now, while I try to be positive, this was truly devastating to us. So what did my wife do? Facebook mom groups, care.com. We were literally asking random people on the street who had other kids, do they know a babysitter, right? Because when you need help, you need help. So my goal today is think of the Morgans like the associates in your life, the people that keep you sane, the people that help you be successful, the people that are truly part of your dental family. And when they move on, for sometimes good reasons, sometimes not so good reasons, you need to find a new Morgan. So how do you find Morgans, hire Morgans, get them ready to help you in your office, and when they move on, what do you do next? So another story here, let me just go over here. My team can help me back there, Nelson. Oh, good. So I was walking on Broad Street in Philadelphia near City Hall. I hear from behind me someone shout out, "Hey, you." So I've lived in Philadelphia for 2 decades. When a random stranger shouts out, "Hey, you," in Philadelphia, you got to be ready for anything. So I turn around and I see this 50-year-old woman with a confused look on her face, and she said, "What is Dental Nachos?" Because I was wearing a Dental Nachos t-shirt. And what I hope to do for you is give you one of my best tips in life and dentistry right now. So if you're gonna write anything down, write this down. This will help you inside and outside the operatory. So when someone asks you a weird question, a difficult question, a poignant question, an annoying question, this happens to us often as dentists, as leaders, as parents. What do you say? So I looked at this woman with this weird look on her face and I said, that's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. Who here in their office gets asked this? What does my dental insurance cover? My sister's dental insurance covers 33 veneers. Well, your sister's a liar. You only have 32 teeth. But you can't say that. Keep that on the inside part of your head. You say, it's a great question. A lot of people ask about dental insurance. Here's a great tip. Dental insurance works a lot like a coupon that has restrictions, like blackout dates for airline miles. Or when you go for a sale at your favorite store and you want to buy your brand, they say, no, this other brand over here that nobody likes. So we're going to do the best job possible to maximize the benefit of your coupon. So I believe words are a system. That's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. What does your dental insurance cover? Dental insurance works a lot like a coupon that has restrictions. So back to this woman on the street. I got to have an answer. You name your company after an appetizer, you got to expect some questions. That's on me. So I say the way Dental Nachos works, the way it works is a great phrase. It's like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood for dentists. Dentists are really, really weird because we go to dental school. You guys can put this forward for me if you don't mind. We go to dental school, and they run the Dental Student Hunger Games. As a D1, you're like, I'm here to learn, meet new people, and hopefully fix teeth. Like, we're going to make you cry quite often. Dental school is like an insecurity boot camp. So my goal with Dental Nachos is to change that, to make dentists and people that work with dentists feel like we can collaborate and not compete. Another great movie during the pandemic we've watched at least 10 times is Raya and the Last Dragon. Who has watched that movie? So if you have not watched that movie, it is for adults too. So what happens in the beginning is there's all these villages. Think of them like DSOs, and they're all fighting over who has the best EBITDA. I have the best EBITDA. You have the best EBITDA. You don't know what EBITDA means. That's true. I really don't, okay? So then Ray is like, we got to get it together. So she spends the whole movie bonding everyone back together in this concept called Kumandra. So I really think it's a great opportunity for dentists to do this. One of my friends even started the Facebook group Kumandra Dentist. Because I believe us dentists and us people that work with dentists, you're plenty weird too. You signed up to work with us. Sometimes I'm like, who's weirder, the dentist or the people who signed up to work with us? So we're all in this wacky dentisting world together. We can make it better. So I'm really here to hope, I'm living my dream doing this, hopefully recognizing and helping you guys live your dream and avoiding nightmares. But speaking of failed dreams, as a child, I wanted to play professional basketball in the NBA. Spoiler alert, that did not work out. Not even close. Now that is a picture of me shooting a three-point shot. I was very good in high school at that. I made 43 threes in 1 year in 1994. Not like I remember the exact thing at all. But my favorite player was Dr. J, but the person I wanted to be like was Maurice Cheeks, the point guard. Maurice Cheeks was a star in his own right, but he made everyone around him better through assists. That's his jersey. I wear it sometimes to remember my failed dreams. And what I want to do is to assist you, help you in winning. But what does winning look like? That's different for all of us. So if you're sitting here thinking, what does winning look like in my life? I've been asked to talk about doubling dentistry. So this awesome team, of the DEO said, we want you to talk about doubling dentistry. But what does that mean exactly? Let's talk about it together. So raise your hand and keep it up. If you're a dentist, you work with dentists, you've thought about EBITDA today, a lot of people are going to get their hands up for that, or you're married to a dentist, our thoughts are with you, okay? So I want you to keep it up, and I want you to take this hand here, okay? Take your other hand and hit it together in what I call a selfie high five. I take a lot of selfies, so might as well, I've invented the selfie high five. Because how often you in your office, you do something good, nobody notices, nobody cares. Give yourself a selfie high five. That's what I start to do. We need it. People should care about us. So, in talking about associates and bringing people together, all different generations have different mindsets, and it's normal. I'm a medium-aged 44-year-old. But in doing this, oh, sorry, can you pause it 1 sec? Sorry, it's my fault. Okay, do that. Can we start from the beginning a sec? Sorry, Doug. Perfect. So I'll tell you, I'll give you a thumbs up. So people say to me, Paul, you know all these dentists. How bad is dental school debt? How bad is it, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to make a video during the pandemic. I only own 2 of these kids. The other 3 are my nieces and nephews. So I will explain how bad dental school debt is through dad push-ups. Now you can play it with the volume.
Go.
Okay, this is a dentist who graduated in the 1990s with debt. Oh, it's manageable. A little tough, but manageable. All right, off 1990s debt. Next, 2000s debt in the purple. Oh, this is my generation. Not easy, but the cost to go to dental school, probably at the high end, $200,000. Okay, off 2010 debt, green sweatshirt. Oh man, dental school pricing has gotten doubled, even though new grads are making the same. Dentist income is stagnant. Okay, 2020 debt. Everybody on here.
Hey man, I'm just
Next.
right now. I need a break.
Good. Good.
No.
Drew, can you get on?
Oh, sorry, you didn't see the video.
Okay.
No.
Hold on, Drew. There's 2021 debt. Oh, that's so tough. Thanks, guys. So 60 seconds,
awesome, Hudson.
totally authentic.
Thank you.
I couldn't move them at the end. That's what it feels like to new associates. Now, doing Dental Nachos and having great resources and sponsors, I know there are awesome ways to manage this, but we have to recognize how this feels to new people in the industry. My dental school is 3 times as much. 15, 18 years later, nobody knows why. So what I thought was, what skills, actually I want to pause for a second. So I love talking, okay, I was voted most talkative, not a shocker. But I've created a handout for everyone. It's in the app. So anything we don't get to, it's right on the handout. If you want to reach out to me later, say something, that's great. So I've created this checklist for success. I love paper, so it's in the app for you guys to take home with you. I just want to say that. So, dental school charges all this money. They must teach new grads how to find a job. I mean, who would charge someone hundreds of thousands of dollars and teach them nothing about how to find a job? So I found the lecture on dental school, and I'll show it to you now. Here's the lecture on how to find a job after dental school. There it is. So in some ways, this is really toxic. And by some ways, I mean all the ways. So I get the opportunity to do high-level implant cases, which is awesome. Anybody who wants a high-level veneer case, I refer out to my awesome friend, Todd Fleischman. Imagine doing a $50,000 case for someone and go, how do I take care of it? Go, you can learn that on the streets. Ask your friends how to use a water pick. That wouldn't be responsible for us. So can we create win-wins, because there's so much emotional energy around what is happening? There's an example of associates who aren't so sure about the job they're being offered. Why are they not so sure? No one has ever told them how a job is supposed to look. Also, many people have not told practice owners how they're supposed to pay. So what if we just created a framework so people would have a deeper understanding? So I'm super honored to have my brother here in the audience to meet Jeff Goodman. He's a partner in my dental practice. Running a dental practice is like running a circus where the animals don't try to eat you, just slowly annoy you to death. So it's very difficult to do that, right? It's pretty much the feeling. The giraffe is complaining, the zebra gets off on July 4th. They always have to off on July 4th, right? So I told you about Morgan, my babysitter. So then, during the pandemic, not the best time for me, right? Was it the best time for anybody? No, not the best time for anyone. Our dental associate said, hey, guess what? My wife is a neurologist, and she got into her favorite fellowship, the one she wanted, in San Francisco. So I'm moving to San Francisco. So we needed to replace her, and we replaced this associate with the awesome Dr. Alicia that you see there, because that's what the story is in life. The story is the star of everything that we do.
So what I would like to ask you guys who just saw that 12 minutes that brought everything together, from culture to team to systems to fun to understanding the success and stress in the associateship world. We have people watching on Zoom. Share in the chat one thing that resonated to you, something that you learned from watching that, something you're going to do. Are you in the, you can even just put, are you in the phase of looking for a job right now, hiring an associate? Where are you in this journey? How can you utilize something like that to make yourself more successful, less stressed out during this process? So as we move towards wrapping up our CE course, we'll be giving the CE code shortly. I would like to go with a few more questions on how you can be successful in this associate world, reinforce some of the things that we talked about here, and how you can set yourself up for treatment planning success in your associate life. I see a question coming in here, which is great, or a comment, which is what I really enjoy. Someone's looking for a job. I like that. So if you're looking for a job, here's what I do. We just had someone at our course this weekend. They applied to 42 jobs, and they found a great one. So apply to more jobs, go on more phone interviews, check. You could go to the offices in the area where you're looking for a job and simply walk in and say, hey, my name is Dr. G. I'm a dentist in this area. I would love to talk to the practice owner about what it's like to be a dentist in this area. Magic can happen. They may not be looking for an associate, but they may have a friend who's looking for an associate. So in this, what procedures will I be doing most of the time? What training opportunities are there in the practice? We talked about how I will be compensated, income guarantee. To reinforce this idea here. Oh, it's really helpful. Thank you. I'm glad to help. This is why we do all this bonding of dentists together to help you increase success, decrease stress, and reduce crying inside. How often will I be the only dentist in the practice? A really important question to ask. Care about your associate as a professional and a person. This is an amazing question. So if you watch this long, this is one of the best ones. So when you talk and teach people, varying your tone of voice and volume is important when you want to emphasize something. So would I be able to speak to a past associate so I can learn more about the position to make sure I can meet your expectations? This is an amazing question. They're either going to say, sure, would love for you to talk to them. They may say, oh, you're our first associate. That's a red, orange flag. When you're the first associate a practice has ever had, just be prepared. They do not have a system for an associate yet. You'll be developing that system. It doesn't mean don't take the job. It just means be prepared to be able to develop systems with them. And if they refuse to let you speak to a past associate, something's going on there. So it's a really, really great question to ask. To reinforce, what is the average PPO insurance adjustment to the care at this office? Will I have a dental assistant working with me? Seems like a simplistic question, but make sure you will have a dental assistant who is helping you on a daily basis. It's very difficult to work without a dental assistant. The must-dos to reinforce. Would it be possible for me to observe in the practice for a day so I can get a sense of what happens during a normal day of dentistry? That's going to help you with the culture fit. That's going to help you see how much chaos is there. That's going to share their systems. And when would be a good time to review the associate contract with an attorney? There are so many sad stories out there of dentists losing thousands of dollars, dentists being prevented from moving on to practices where they can be successful because they signed a contract that had too long a termination notice. So do not be dentisting cheap. Please have a dental focused attorney review your contract before signing it. Nothing bad happens. They either say there's a few small tweaks that we need to make here. This is what we need to do. Maybe dial down the restrictive covenant, or worse, they say there's 14 red flags and I haven't even gotten to page 2. So key to have this. I hope you're taking a picture of this slide. Make sure you fit in with these must-dos. So as we just continue to reinforce what we've talked about, does anyone have any last-minute questions before we wrap up here in a few minutes? It's really good to create a menu of core procedures, what I call chips and awesome toppings. What can you do? Hey, I can do fundamental restorative dentistry and I also have implant placement experience. Showcase the genuine reality of your dental practice by inviting the associate to a full day observation program. Develop, use, and listen to your team of advisors. Develop, use, and listen to your team of advisors. Develop, use, and listen to your team of advisors, accountants, attorneys, financial planners, coaches, and more. I also want to answer this question here. How Can you tell how well the office is doing financially? That's nearly impossible to tell as an associate. What you can ask though is, what was the collections of your last associate monthly? Oh, $50,000 a month. That sounds great. Oh, they did pretty well. Not so great. It's very hard to know exactly. That is why the income guarantee is so important, and reviewing your contract with an attorney is so important. So develop, use, and listen. Always be connecting. Share the story of your amazing dental practice and team on social media. And if you're looking for a job, use your Instagram account to showcase your awesomeness. People will check you out online. Get HIPAA consent for any cases that you share, but people will check out your Instagram account both ways. So make sure it reflects your awesomeness in doing this. Avoid why these fail associateships with a guaranteed salary plus bonus incentives. This is reinforcing things we have learned here. And tell your associate your short, medium, and long range plans, or ask about them. If you're an associate dentist looking at interviews, say, hey, over the next 6 months, what kind of plans do you have for me? Oh, we want to make sure that we fill your schedule full time, send you to a CE course. What about medium range over the next 6 months to 3 years? Oh, we want to hire multiple associates, open more practices. What's the long-term plans? But make sure you have that awesome first year first. Dentists want to know the answer to the test before they take it. Dentists want to know the answer to the test before they take it. Us dentists, we go to school to be professionally weird, totally at times. We operate against our own self-interest. Do you really want to know if you can bind to the practice the first day you're there? Maybe it's nice to know that it's a possibility, but why don't you just focus on this awesome first year together? See how you both do after that first year. And dental offices are people places, not pizza places. Why I am so against the clinical working interview is because what patient wants to be a test out case for an associate dentist? Everyone think about this. Think about this. Think about this. If your dentist said to you, hey, we have a dentist coming in, Dr. A. We don't know if we're going to hire Dr. A, but we want to use your filling as a test case. And if Dr. A is good, we're going to hire Dr. A. But if they're not good, we're not. Good luck. And also, Dr. A's never worked in this operatory or worked with this assistant. That seems incredibly unfair to everyone, and why I am not a fan. I have never asked an associate to do a clinical working interview. Hire, onboard, train, and help them be successful. So as we wrap up, I want to give you a tip on how to help people stop crying. And this is a tip our practice management consultant, Carol Kibler, gave to us. So if somebody in your life is crying and you want them to stop crying, do this.
What happened? Oh, here, real quick. Could you drink this water real quick? Real quick. Oh, drink it real quick, real quick. Just try. Come on, try. Real fast, then we'll go downstairs. Real fast. Real try. Try. Good.
So you just open up a bottle of water, say, take a sip. It breaks their crying streak. And those, hopefully I've helped you throughout the program learn how to increase success, decrease stress, and reduce the number of crimes you're crying inside a day. At Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect, we strive to help you feel better, dentist better. ABC, always be connecting. The 4 major decisions you will make: finding your first job, buying or starting your first practice, hiring your first associate, and selling that only practice. Those are the decisions, and the dashes in between. How do you live those dentisting dashes? I want to reinforce to you how important it is to create a checklist for success. Start early. Be proactive, not reactive, in these major career decisions, and hire advisors that do this thing every single day. Be cautious about DIYing giant decisions. You are not an attorney. You are not an expert on Google Ads. Do not be dentist cheap. Build your team and rely on them in helping you make major career decisions. If I can help you in any way, please reach out to us. My team can give the CE code in the chat here for people who are watching in live. If you're watching this on demand, there will be a short quiz for you to take. I would love for you to share in the comments before we go. What's one thing you learned during this course? What's one thing that you are going to do from this course? What's something that you are hopeful about? What's something you're aware about? We did reinforce said people are said that they are going to change their words. Don't say policy, say protocol. Don't say fail, say needs to be replaced. So that concludes our CE program here. on Dental Nachos, CE on TV. If I can help you in any way, please reach out to us at Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. I love the selfie high five. So get out there and give yourself a selfie high five.